Hey everyone, Andang here for another episode of the Epic Story. When we last left off, we are getting ready to go and scout this entire area, basically spreading word about Aragorn's proclamation. So here's the first herald that we are sharing this information to. The herald vouches for a number of soldiers to join Aragorn's army. Alright, we have 462 soldiers pledged to be joining up with Aragorn here. Let's talk to the next herald here. Okay, there we go. Over 1,000 now. That is awesome. Okay, nearly 2,000 soldiers signed up for Aragorn's army, and man, this city is a mess. Alright, there we go. We told everyone that we needed to over 2,000 soldiers pledged to join Aragorn. That is pretty awesome. Alright, let's tell Aragorn how many we have.
Speak to my other commanders. Learn how large a host we have assembled.
How many men were the heralds able to reach with their voices? More than 2,000, you say? That is very good and matches my hopes. These other commanders have also done work to gather soldiers for the march. Speak to them and see how large a host we have assembled. It will not be enough to wage war upon Mordor, but it must be large enough to threaten battle.
This must be the greatest jest in all the history of Gondor.
My swan knights have scoured the nearby lands of Gondor for fighting men. They report that 3,500 will march for Mordor with Aragorn. It is a fine total as any for which you might hope, and proves the courage of Gondor so fresh from battle, and still hungry for more. But this must be the greatest jest in all the history of Gondor, Stafteng. We march to assail the Black Gate and the impenetrable land of Mordor, and with fewer men than any might have formed, just the vanguard for its army in the mighty days. It brings to my mind a child threatening a mail-clad knight with a toy bow, or a buzzing fly seeking to sting a man working in the hot sun. The Dark Lord will smile and knock down the child, or squish the fly in his palm. And that will be the end of it. What else is there to do but laugh at the jest, Stafteng?
Rohan will not abandon her friends.
Much has been asked of my men already, but Rohan will not abandon her friends. Many among the Rohirrim were unhorsed during the battle lately ended, but they are still war-worthy, and will not let that stay their weapons. 500 of these will follow behind, and I will lead 500s along horse alongside. Okay, so that's 6,500.
Eomer King has given me command of the main force of the Rohirrim.
Some 3,000 still a horse. It is to the west road we will go, to hold it against the enemy that is still in Anorion. Alright, quite a few people here. It is now time to talk with Mithrandir.
I think Imrahil has wrongly judged the mind of the Dark Lord.
The Prince of Dol Amroth believes that Aragorn's army will be as a stinging fly to the forces of the Dark Lord. He is not wrong that these 7,000 are mere pendants to the numbers Sauron's houses within the Black Land. But it seems to me that Imrahil has wrongly judged the mind of the Dark Lord. Yes, we go to sting the Dark Lord, but he will not squish us for all our buzzing, no! He will seek to trap the fly and take the sting, all unaware of our deception. On that deception all our fortunes rest. It is the secret fly that bears the most dangerous sting of all for Sauron. Let him remain blind to it until it be too late.
Our secrecy was born of necessity, but now it must end.
We have moved in secrecy ever since I came to know you, Stafteng. It was a secrecy born of necessity, for we needed every advantage we might attain in our struggle against the Dark Lord. Whispered counsels gave rise to hidden errands and close-guarded conspiracies. But no longer. While Frodo continues his quest in the shadows, Aragorn strides into the light, and he must draw Sauron's gaze to him. and away from the real purpose with every means at his disposal. Let the departure of Aragorn's army be a loud one, and snare the attention of the Dark Lord. Wars are fought with weapons, but this battle for Sauron's eye will be fought with the noise and tumult, with musical instruments and those who wield them. Walk the Pelennor and find men who wield trumpets of silver and brass. They will announce the coming of the king as loudly and as often as they can, and perhaps this loud departure will serve as a shield for Frodo and Sam as they walk into the Black Land. After you gather 4 trumpeteers, travel to the western gate of Osgiliath, and Aragorn's army will begin its march. I will see you at the eastern gate of the city, after the army is on the march. Alright, we got our task set out for us. Time to gather all the trumpeters of Gondor.
This trumpet belonged to my friend Araneth.
You seek trumpeters to proclaim the presence of Aragorn, now that he has revealed his true claim. I am not as practiced as some others in Gondor, for I have only lately begun to learn the skill. But I would be honored to use my meager ability to announce the arrival of my chief and lord. My friend Araneth bore this trumpet on his person when he was slain in Tor Morva. I picked it up to save it from the hands of the treacherous men, and thought I might teach myself its use, as a means of remembering poor Araneth. I will use it to proclaim the coming of King Elisar, and it will remind me of the friends that gave their lives, so this day might happen.
I fought in the battle and saw more than my share of death.
Sometime during the waning hours I lost both my sword and the trumpet I carried on my hip, and suffered a knock upon the head by a heavy club. When I came to it again, my sword was gone. It must have been taken by a foe, or a friend who thought I was slain. My trumpet lay by my feet, battered and bruised, even as I was, but still whole. I have taken that as a sign, and now I will be a trumpeter and not a swordsman. I will be honored to wind my horn to announce the coming of King Elisar Stafting. Let the sound strike fear into the hearts of our enemies, and give them such a great fright, they will never again threaten Gondor. He means business. Alright, let's go talk to these final 2 trumpeters.
I will be pleased to sound my horn on behalf of the king.
I was inside the city when our friends from Mohan joined the battle, and my heart soared to see their charge. So inspired was I, that I mounted a horse and followed the Prince of Dol Amroth and his knights through the gate, and into the throng of the battle. I was near at hand to Theoden, King of Rohan, when the great beast descended, and spelled his doom. I saw then the most beautiful woman I had ever seen, or ever will see. She stood between her fallen lord and the dreadful foe, and slew that terrible creature in the defence of her king. A great evil took me, then I swooned. I think I dreamed, but I cannot remember the details of it. When I awoke, I was in the houses of healing. Friends tell me I was saved by the hands of a stranger, of curious visage and few words. I would find this man and give him my thanks, but he has left me no sign. There are whispers that King Elisar may have worked his healing arts in the houses, but who would believe such a thing? No king would trouble himself with my hurts, surely. In any case, I will be pleased to sound my horn on behalf of the king. Alright, it is amazing how fast we are really going through this content, not doing the side quest. I'm always amazed by that, especially in later areas where the story is so intertwined and it's hard to tell what's epic story and what's not when you're looking back on that memory. And it's just amazing how much is actually side quests and how there's just so much story that is told there. Like the funeral pyre, I think, is told there even. So
To
Lots and
think
lots
I
of
have
stuff.
lived to see a king once more in Gondor.
I have mastered my musical instruments, but I am not most skilled and loudest with the trumpet. It will be my pleasure to sound mine at volume on behalf of the king. Oh, to think I have lived to see a king once more in Gondor. My heart leaps at the thought of it. You will have no problem getting me to start. Getting me to stop will be another thing entirely. Alright, time to go to Osgiliath and start this march of the king. You see familiar faces within the western entrance of Osgiliath. Oh, these guys.
Oh, hello. I did not think that I would see you again so soon.
I had rather hoped my father would let us remain a while longer in Imloth Melu, but when he heard that the battle was over, he made us depart at once. The flowers of Imloth Melu are breathtaking and beautiful, and the roses are quite a sight as well. My father promised Lord Angbor that we would bring our stock of Kellamdale liquor to the houses of healing as soon as we were able, and we have done so, also satisfying our writ with Gallingam. But now my father has that look in his eye once again, and he has made us come to Broken Osgiliath over the Anduin, instead of heading home. Perhaps you could suggest that he and I return home, or maybe, if that is too far, we could turn our wagon in the direction of Imloth Melu, and make sure that the ladies of that place fare well in our absence.
I am proud to say my fortunes have changed for the better.
Staftang, any good friend of Lord Angbor would be a friend of mine, but you were my friend first, I dare say. I have not forgotten our encounter in Tarlang's Neck. We met at a low ebb in my fortunes. Any man would admit that. But I am proud to say that the fortunes have changed for the better. And all because of my son. He has always made me proud, that one, and I defy any man to doubt it, unless you watched previous videos. We needed to leave Imloth Melu in rather a hurry, but that is no fault of mine, Thaden. I did not like many of the glances the fair lasses of that place gave to my boy, and I deem that should the battle have kept us there any longer, I might have lost my apprentice and gained a daughter of the law. And that does not bring in the coins. No, we left at the first opportunity, and now another opportunity has presented itself. Do you know what that opportunity is? Brandron pauses for dramatic emphasis, waiting for you to guess. At last he continues with a shout of triumph. Nails, Staftang! It just so happens that with tremendous foresight, my clever and enterprising son, Nathaden, has caused us to come into possession of 2 barrels full of nails, as I am sure you remember. And do you know what is in great demand following a battle? Nails of the very sort we possess in such quantities, and which we can sell the craftsmen repairing the city and the bridges at a better than usual rate, I might add. Just doing my part as a man of Gondor, my friend, and if it allows me to set up my own shop in competition with Gallingam, well, that is the merest coincidence. There are still enemies hiding in Osgiliath, however. If you were to defeat some of these foes, I would appreciate it. Okay, crazies, we'll go take care of your enemies. And there we go. 8. Love being able to one-shot, guys. Alright, let's make our way to the eastern entrance of Osgiliath. As you approach the east gate, you see Mithrandir astride Shadowflax. Very cool.
You have caused an impressive amount of noise.
The trumpeters will announce the arrival of King Elisar as his army marches through Ithilien. None will miss these tidings. Sauron will not fail to heed this march, Staftang. The Prince of Dol Amroth has rightly pointed out that the size of the army is too small to pose a serious challenge to the host that lies within Mordor. but that in itself will draw his gaze hither. He will think that Aragorn possesses the ring, and believes that it will bring him the power he needs to overthrow Sauron. He will think this because this is the action he would take were the positions reversed. The army will march slowly, but it will march loudly, and that is the best gift we can give to Frodo now. I hope beyond hope that he will be able to make use of the gift, and that it does not come too late for him. Here we go. One of my favorite cinematics. So cool. Yes! Yes! The March of the King. That's awesome. Alright, it is now on the move. Things are starting to really take off. Mithrandir? Mithrandir. There you are. You got it popped in yet.
Representatives from every land stand with the host of the West.
Elves, dwarves, men, and hobbits. Young Master Brandybuck recovers still from his wounds, secure in the houses of healing. So it falls to Peregrine Took to ride with Aragorn as a representative of the Shire folk. He rides just ahead to the east, if you wish to speak with him, on the way to the crossroads of the King. Alright, well, we'll be talking next episode with Peregrine, but that is not till next time. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a like down below, and when we return, we will continue on the March of the King. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon for another episode of The Epic Story.